Welcome back to the Battery Podcast. I'm Aidan,
And I'm Casey.
and we are here to just briefly touch on the awards that Cannons players were nominated for this year, as well as talk about the two playoff matchups we have this weekend. Unfortunately, neither of which will include the Cannons. So let's take a few minutes, though, to talk about the two Cannons who are up for end of season awards. Not as many as last year, but if you remember last year, no Cannon won an award, which I think was robbery. I mean, obviously Jeff Trainer for Demon of the Year wasn't even nominated, but um,
That was a shame.
yeah, I think we got a good chance this year, and we got a brand new award, which I think something that's been overdue in lacrosse, and I don't I don't think every sport has this. I know the NFL does, but I can't think of if they have it in baseball or in hockey. And that's the Comeback Player of the Year award. So let's start there. So the three players up for the inaugural Comeback of the Year award, our very own Jack Keelty, Dylan Malloy, and Brad Smith. Um, so it's kind of like Keelty and Smith didn't play at all last year because of injury. Makes a lot of sense. Dylan Malloy did play 3 games for the Atlas. He had 6 points. I think that was two in the regular season and then one in the playoffs. He had 6 points, 4 goals, 2 assists. And then this year I mean, the reason he's out, had a fantastic year. Second on the Woods in scoring, 32 points, with 25 1 goals, 1-2. That was kind of that fluky moment, 5 assists. And he also had 2 caused turnovers. Um, Smith this season, 6 1s, 4 2s, 1 assist for 15 points, and also had a caused turnover. And then Jack Hilty, obviously not a guy who's on the stat sheet as much, but 12 caused turnovers for him, and 7 ground balls. So Casey, I don't know, homerism aside, who do you feel? Not that the award is just about the stats, obviously, but
Right.
what are your thoughts on the award?
Well, I mean, just with like the little bit that we've gotten to know Keelty, it's so hard for me to not pick him because you and I both know that his impact, like, well, I mean, 12 caused turnovers, 7 ground balls, yes, but we also know like how much of a leadership influence he has on the team as well. So it's like you and I both know his impact is greater than even just the numbers that are showing there. But I do think that Malloy has put on quite a show. Um, so I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if he was the one who took home the award.
Yeah, I think my thought as well is again Malloy's probably going to win because the points, the offensive numbers are always the easiest quantifiable stats. Malloy obviously has had his best year in the PLL by far. I think he definitely hit into the 30s one of his years with the Lizards. I don't remember if he's gotten more than that. I can try to pull that up while I'm talking here. Um, but it's just like it's like one of those if you know ball situations because like Jack Keelty is so important to this Cannons defense, and then again they didn't have their best year, so that does also maybe not help him out too much. But just the stuff he does is not going to show up on the stat sheet, and he yeah he really is someone that makes this team go. Um, so if we got votes, he would obviously get I think both of ours, but
Yeah.
yeah, my it pains me to say it. I think my prediction is probably Malloy. Um, and Brad Smith, like to give him props, like he has gone through a lot of injuries. Like I didn't even realize he was drafted the first year of the PLL because he was hurt that whole year as well. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, got hurt, didn't miss all of 2024, was able to come back for Champ Series, did very well there. And then I think Stagg said in one of the press conferences he was supposed to be like their third option on offense, but then Dordovic got hurt, and I think probably is not going to play again. And obviously we wish him health, but um, just he had to step up and be that number one option. So yeah, just want to give him his props, and also like 4 2-pointers is tied for second in the league behind Marcus Holman, who had 5. But yeah, I think Malloy for that reason of just that points being number one on the stat sheet is most likely. All right, Dylan Malloy had 59 points in 2018 with the Florida launch, 42 the next year.
Mm.
Um, but this is certainly his best total since then. Um, and I don't know. It reminds me a little bit of the NFL a couple years ago with everyone's like, oh, Damar Hamlin is the obvious comeback player of the year because he like literally died, and then they wound up giving it to Joe
Yeah.
Flacco because he got the Browns to the playoffs. And I don't think it's, I mean, the Redwoods historically certainly have not been as bad as the Cleveland Browns because the PLL is just not that old. But man, was that offense bad last year. I do think
Mm.
Chris Cav was obviously an equally important cog, and Andrew McAdory, which we'll talk about in a second. Um, yeah, I don't know, but certainly we'll be rooting for our boy Jack. And I don't know if any PLO voters are listening to this, you should give it to Jack Hilty. Um,
Agreed.
yeah, let's go to the other PLL award that a Cannon is nominated for, which is midfielder of the year. So you have Matt Campbell leading all midfielders in points with 28. 16 ones, 2 twos, 8 assists. Andrew McAdory, 13 ones, 1 2, 9 assists. Jared Bernhardt with 18 ones, no twos, 4 assists. He also only played in 9 games. If you remember that, he was the first big free agent kind of fuss about the PLL. And then Brian Constable, 13 ones, 3 twos, 4 assists. Um, yeah. What are your initial thoughts about that? Again, maybe homerism aside as much as you can, as much as we both can.
I mean, I always am gonna root for Campbell, right? Um, and I mean, he had a good year. I do feel like with only 9 games played though, like I mean, Bernhardt's numbers are very impressive. So I feel like he'll end up getting that. But I do want Campbell to win. He deserves it.
Yeah, I think like scrolling through the leading point scores, which again is not how you should decide any or all of these awards, but the top 12 in points are all attackmen. Then you have Matt Campbell and then Owen Hiltz, who only played 7 games, which is insane. Uh,
Yeah,
then
he went
Matt
off.
Brandau, yeah, Matt Brandau, who kind of split between midi and attack, but is listed as a midi here. And then you have 3 more attackmen down to Xander Dixon at 18, and then Andrew McAdory at 19 is next. So yes, it's not a huge gap in points, but the fact that Campbell is the first midfielder listed, and then there's a pretty big gap as a number of people between him and the next closest guy, um, I think is a great solid case for him. Uh, I'm very curious how many awards the Outlaws players are going to come away with because they're up for O'Neill and Kavanaugh both up for MVP. Mac no, McNaney up for goalie of the year. You have Bernhardt up for midfielder of the year. I think Tarafenko's up for short stick D mid of the year. I think Sudan is up for coach of the year. So I don't know, depending on how the voters are feeling, it could wind up just being an all Denver award. Oh, JT Giles Harris is up for defender of the year. So we could just get an all Denver sweep, and I wonder if that's gonna affect some people saying like, well, yeah, they had a good year, but like I can't just vote for an outlaw for everything.
I mean, I get it. Like they have an impressive lineup,
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, let's give flowers to those who deserve their flowers, not just everyone on the Outlaws.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I thought Bernhardt played fewer games than he did. I really thought it was
Mm.
8 or maybe even 7. So the fact that he only missed 1 week, I think does not it shouldn't really impact whether he wins it or not. And it's not like if he'd played 1 more week, yeah, he probably would maybe he would have 28 points, the same as Matt Campbell, but it's not like I did the
I
math before we started, and if you just put that up to 10, it's like 24.4 or it's 2.4 repeating points per game. So it's not like it's that crazy. It is impressive how, a few years off from lacrosse, he was able to come in and took him a little bit to get his footing, but was absolutely the same. Oh, I didn't even think about, yes, no pun necessary or no pun intended. Geez. Uh, yeah. Uh, yes, they should still be playing overtime down in Fairfield.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely feels like he played less than yeah, I mean, I before when I was saying like he only played 9 games and his numbers are impressive, I was thinking he missed way more than 1 week.
Yeah, but I think that first
Number is still impressive, but
absolutely. Yeah, I certainly couldn't get 22 points in the PLL. Um, but he was so he missed week one and then week two. I don't think he had any points. Like maybe he lucked his way into an
Mhm.
assist, but it was that second week of nothing, and then week three. Let me see if I can get his game log up, but maybe that was when he started popping off. I think same as CJ Kirst, we were all kind of assuming that he was gonna be the same
Be
player he was in
immediate.
college immediately, and it just
Hmm.
took him a week, a little bit to find that. But find it, they both certainly did.
Yeah.
My computer, I'm just asking a lot of my computer right now, so it's being a little slow. But um, yeah, so I think Campbell has a bit of a stronger case just because he is leading in points, and that's usually something that voters like to see. Okay, yeah, Bernard had 5 points week three, so yeah, he figured it out by then. Um, but I do also think like I don't remember what Smith's injury was off the top of my head. I think it was also a leg thing. I think he's had a lot of knee issues. Um,
Hmm.
so just the fact that both of them came off of pretty substantial injuries, and I think Keelty's role for the Cannons team, I mean both he and Smith stepped up into roles. Keelty maybe one that he was expecting to and wants to, versus not that Smith doesn't want to be a leader, but he was asked to do a little bit more on that offense than he was initially thinking of.
Hmm.
Um, do you have thoughts on any other awards that you want to touch on before we switch to the matchups for this weekend, which fortunately will not include our boys?
Who do we have that is finalist for the teammate of the year?
Oh yeah, that's an interesting one. It's that one is like really hard for those of us who aren't like in the locker rooms and like really
Yeah.
deeply involved to cover. Um, yeah, sorry again, asking a lot of my computer. And it's also interesting the teammate of the year versus leadership award is
Yeah.
they have a couple that it's just difficult. I mean, I'm sure the criteria are up there, but so we have teammate of the year is Brian Tevlin, Austin Kaut, Trevor Baptiste, and then leadership award Blaze, Mike Manley, and Matt Dunn. And then there's also the humanitarian award, Romar Dennis, who won it last year, Jake Pacino, and Piper Bond. And the sportsmanship award, which is Joe Nardella, Mark Lacini, and Ryan Ambler.
Oh, I mean, okay, so Glissini should win. This is just going to be a rapid fire.
Yeah.
Glissini should win sportsmanship. Romar Dennis takes humanitarian. Not that this is my prediction. This is just who I think should get it. Um, what was the who were the three for the leadership award? I know Blaze was one of them.
Yeah. Blaze, Mike Manley, and Matt Dunn.
Well, I don't really think Mike Manley, but uh, I think yeah, I would say probably Blaze. But I do have a question. What is this hard hat award?
That's what they call the short stick teammate of the year. I don't know why
I
they don't call it the George Moriarty short stick teammate of the year award. It's the only one that doesn't have a position in it. Or it's the only one it's for a position, but doesn't have a position listed. Uh yeah,
All
I don't
right.
know. So yeah, Tevlin, Terefenko, Logan, and Hest. That one feels like it's got to be Tevlin. Like he is a do everything type of player, but he really did everything for the Woods this year.
Yeah.
I mean, so
It's
did like yeah, it's basically been Danny Logan's award the last couple of years. I do think we have a great group of players up for it, and I generally just want to see the person who hasn't won it already. Um, and I do really love watching Tevlin play. I mean, that game against the Cannons, right? He had a goal and five caused turnovers, which is a record for a D mid. Wish it hadn't happened against us, but it was a very impressive performance by him.
yeah. I will say I really hope that TD gets face off of
Yeah,
the year. I
that
would like
again,
to see somebody different, and also I just think that he just like deserves his flowers.
yeah, I think he's struggled more in the pros than I think we all thought. He was so dominant in college, um, and hasn't. he's always been good, but it's felt like he's been a tier below Baptiste and Nardella, and I think Baptiste maybe was not fully healthy or at least didn't have as strong of a year. Obviously, still finished on a fantastic note. But yeah, TD led all faceoff people in percentage, 60.5, and he led them all in points. He had six, 3 goals, 3 assists. Um, Nardella had 2 goals and then was 59.8, and Trevor had 4 goals, 1 assist, and was 58.9. So it is all very close, but I just again feel like because TD hasn't won the award, he was the best in all those categories, and I think he's also so much more important to his team. So
Yeah.
yeah, we don't get to vote, but he gets my vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Speaking of TD, do you want to switch to uh predictions or previews, what have you for this weekend? Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Let's do it.
so I believe they are technically the second game that day, but um, we got Redwoods Chaos, and then we've got um, Water Dogs Whip Snakes. Um,
Hmm.
I gotta look up because it feels like I know that I saw the Water Dogs and Whip Snakes play in person in Fairfield. I cannot for the life of me remember when the Redwoods and Chaos played this year or what the results were. Um, so
Let's look that up.
I'm gonna try to pull that up now. Um, let's see, can I click on either team to do it? Yeah, sweet. Okay, so great.
They played them week 2.
All right, and what was the result?
Mm, still getting that. Let's see.
This is man. All right. Oh, there we go. Yes, the chaos started, or the Redwoods started so hot. That was when Dylan Malloy got his 2-pointer that Blaze accidentally tossed right to him. So the Woods won that one 16-10.
Yeah,
And
I
then
forgot about that game.
yeah, I'm assuming I think it was in their homecomings when they played. No. Shoot, when was their second game? Oh yeah, all right. It was during the Woods losing streak. The Chaos won that one 12-10.
Hmm.
So it's a split season series. Um, I don't know. It's just hard for me to bet against the Chaos as long as Blaze is in the pipes and
Mm,
they have that core of Newman and Rowlett and Ray. Not to mention they have Ignacio, who's a substantially better face-off guy than Nick Rowlett, no offense. Um, and they have Owen Hiltz, who I mentioned a little bit ago, shot
hmm.
up the PLL like scoring charts. I think his points per game is insane, given that again he only played 7, which I think
Yeah.
will hurt him a little bit for rookie of the year, or it might. But I mean, he's getting like 4 points a game. So I think I'm picking the Chaos for that reason. I am rooting for the Woods just again because they haven't done it before. These are both two upstart teams that the Chaos, I think we expected to be bad. The Woods, we really didn't know. Um, but they are still more of a known commodity, and Blaze is like he's just too good. He's had the Cannons number for a while, and it's you just can't bet against him when the stage is at its biggest.
Yeah, I think it's going to be I'm really looking forward to watching that game. Both of the games, honestly, are going to be really good because there's so much on the line. But I I've been thinking about this like a good portion of the day, honestly. I keep going back and forth with who I think is going to take it, but I think I'm California's going to win it.
I hope you're right. I mean, I think TD has the potential to be a very big difference maker, like we've talked about.
Yeah.
Ignacio has been very good at the stripe um, since he came into the league. Um,
Hmm.
but let me look up actually what the matchup, how he did when they faced each other the first time. Because I think TD has the potential to be able to be that impact player. Certainly, you'd give the edge in faceoffs to the Woods. Oh yeah, they both. It was one of those. They both were above 50%. TD was 13 of 21. Inacio was 11. Sorry, yeah, Inacio was 11 of 21 because they each had some violations in there. But then you look at the goaltending. Blaze made 18 saves, 69.2%. Erlin made 12 saves at 50%. That was the game that the Chaos won by two.
Mm. Yeah, I think that I I think there's going to be maybe like a two or three goal difference in the final score. But I think California is going to come out with it. I think they're going to be ready to go, and I think the Chaos is going to be ready to go too, obviously. But I think that I think the Redwoods are they're gonna take it.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think they do have the kind of that youth, the energy, and Anthony Kelly seems like just a fantastic coach to play for, to really like
Yeah.
believe in his guys and really like juices them up.
Hmm.
So that'll be game two. That'll be at 8:30. But then we've got the Eastern Conference quarterfinal before that at 6 o'clock. Maryland and Philly, who also split their regular season games. Maryland won uh 16 to 12, did I see, in their first game. And then where did I see that? Um, Jeez. Oh, that was in Charlotte. It wasn't Charlotte. Yeah, Maryland. No, sorry. Philly won 16 to 12. And then Maryland won what was it, 10 to 7 in Fairfield. And this is again, there's some big changes. Like that game that Philly won, CJ Kirst wasn't in the lineup. Um, it's a weird stat. Philly is winless with CJ Kirst in the lineup. That Fairfield game was his first one where he was playing out of position. And then um, they lost the highest scoring game in PLL history their last weekend with CJ Kerr still playing really well, but they gave up 20
Hmm.
goals to the Atlas. Um, I think Kenny Brower has also been out that entire time, so that is probably a bigger factor. But
Hmm.
it is interesting to see how putting that extra piece might have disrupted some players' roles, right? Because Jake Taylor is that inside finisher guy. So they had CJ come out of the midfield, and they've scratched Taylor and had CJ Kurse do that. But he and McCardle kind of play the same position on the wing. Um, CJ could play at X, but then Sauer should be at X, and you don't want him playing with his offhand because then he might demand a trade to the Outlaws the next season. Um,
That would be something.
yeah. No, demand a trade to the Cannons. Play with your brothers. I'd be happy taking all four Curse on. Um,
Oh, yeah.
so I don't
Yeah.
know. This is another game where it feels hard to bet against
Hmm.
Maryland because they have so many proven players on the defensive
Yeah.
side of the ball. I mean, not Carroll the same way that Blaze is. He's a rookie, but he's played very well. I mean, he
Hmm.
obviously had a great performance against the Cannons. That defense is still it's basically the same guys. You replace Bryce Young with Ajax Zapatello, but Dunn, who's I mean up for he's the reigning defensive player of the year, and Tim Muller, Colin Squires has taken over beautifully for Michael Earhart, and they're gonna have the edge in the faceoff dot with Nardello over Stathakis. TJ Malone, the rookie of the year. Pennell finally looks like he has a role in that offense. They finally figured out that Matt Rambo probably shouldn't be playing for them anymore. Matt Brandau has been killing it since moving it down kind of semi-officially to attack. And yeah, I don't know if Kenny Brower isn't playing, that maybe is that magic sauce. And I don't let me get that injury report.
Yeah, so Philly doesn't have any players on the injury list, but Maryland does. They've got Bernhardt, Rambo, and Malone. Now, Rambo's the only one that's ruled as doubtful. The other two are questionable, but if, say, those all of them weren't playing, how much of an impact do you think that's going to have?
Yeah, well, Rambo, I don't
Yeah.
expect to play anyway.
Yeah.
If Malone's not playing, I that really, really hampers them, and I think that might almost be enough to for me to give the edge to Philly.
Yeah.
Jake Bernhardt, I do feel like the D mid uh area has not particularly been a strength for the Whips. But they've just been so good. Like they've not had bad players and they've just been so good in other areas that they've been able to, it hasn't hurt them. So I don't know if Jake Bernhardt isn't able to play with a right foot contusion, it says. I'm not sure who would step up. Let me pull up their roster real quick. But I don't think either of those, like Malone is clearly the most important player of anyone that you just listed.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's another one of those games. I'm not really rooting for anyone. I can't really bring myself to root for anyone else in the East. Like the Atlas are the only team of those three that hasn't won a championship. They're not playing this weekend. So, like, I don't know. Like, I suppose I'd rather the Atlas win than either of these two teams win again, but I also can't bring myself to root for a New York team. So it's
Oh,
it yeah, it's tough. But I do, yeah, I think I'd give I think I'm going with the Whips.
I want to see the Whips win just so that they could get beat by the Atlas in the semis. That's how I feel. No, I obviously don't want to see the Whip Snakes win anything.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
we're a pro Cannons podcast, obviously. We're also almost just as much an anti-Whip Snakes podcast.
yeah. But no, I do think that they are going to take the win over the Water Dogs. Um, but I don't think it's going to I think there's going to be a smaller score differential between the two teams. So,
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we saw in Fairfield it was crazy. The Dogs went out to a 4-0 lead, all of them by Michael Sowers, and then the Whips were like, "Oh, let's like that plan that we had about stopping Sowers, let's actually do that." And then the Whips only scored three, or the Dogs only scored three more goals for the rest of the game. It was a very weird one to watch. Um,
mhm.
and I'm sure Bill Tierney has some ideas on how to not let that happen again, but
Did
we'll see.
side note, did you watch the documentary?
I haven't yet. It's been a very busy week for me, but that is very much in my queue, and I really look forward to it. I'm not sure I'm going to have time tonight, but I think tomorrow or this weekend, like before the game, I'm absolutely going to watch it because I'm sure they're going to reference it on the broadcast quite a bit.
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet either. I have not had time this week, but or the last couple days since it came out. But he just continues to scare me.
Yeah,
He the quote is buzzing around. I'll probably get it wrong because I haven't watched it. I've only seen like bits on social media. But talking about like losing is worse than death because you have to live with it, which is
yeah,
actually a really great quote. Um, but I'm like, man, that man continues to scare me.
yeah. I think this
Even
is
though,
also, all the players in the field and what have you, but it's also the matchup of the two coaches that I would least want to be mad at me.
oh my
They
God.
are trying to talk to either of these two guys after a loss. Like Tierney at least was in pretty good spirits after that
Yeah.
19-20 game because he knew he still made the playoffs. But like when last year was going wrong for them, man, was he a miserable person to try to interview. I'm glad that, I'm glad every day that we're not a Water Dogs podcast, but I was very glad that particular year that we didn't have to try to talk to him a couple times and be like, so losing, how's that feel? Then again, that's kind of where we are right
Well,
now.
yeah,
So
you
yeah,
know. Uh, yeah, so I do think the Whips are gonna take it and they'll go on to play the Atlas. And then I really hope and think the Redwoods are gonna pull it off and they'll go on and play Denver. But do we wanna get into semis and then finals predictions?
I mean, yeah, let's just lock in a bracket now, and then we'll update it
Okay,
as need be.
cool.
I have a hard time. I guess the Archers won last year, getting that first round bye and not playing for a while. Um, so I can't use that as an excuse necessarily, but the Outlaws have had an extra week off because they had the bye the last week of the season. McNaney's played unbelievable. I feel like that's going to be the biggest factor in them continuing, or them succeeding. But I don't know, and I don't want to pick like the teams that have already won championships to be back again. Like if it's Chaos Outlaws, I think I would rather the Outlaws. If it's Woods Outlaws, I absolutely would rather the Woods. But I guess I did pick Chaos in my bracket, so um, I don't know. I think I will say the Outlaws take it because that team is just so good. I think they're I don't know if they're the best team we've ever seen or whatever, but they're a substantially better team than they were last year. And I think the way they've played since Bernhardt lit up and since McNaney came into the cage, they've been the best team in the league. Um, I think on
Yeah.
the other side, I want to take New York. That's another one. Like I hope they get over the hump, like at least over a little bit because they've never even made a title game. So
Mm.
and last year they were so close. I think they were up by 3 against the Whips in that game, gave up the lead, and then Levi Anderson again. That was probably a ward, maybe shouldn't have counted, but played an absolutely electric overtime and lost, and the Whips went back to the championship. So I hope that they get the chance to right the ship this year. Um, I'm
Yeah.
not sure if they're necessarily a better team than last year, but I mean, they're the one seed for a reason.
Yeah.
And oh no, go ahead, make your predictions.
So I mean, honestly, I just think the Outlaws are gonna take I think they're gonna go all the way and I think they're gonna like win the championship. I know I said that a couple or a few weeks ago, but um I think it's probably gonna come down to Outlaws versus Atlas in the championship. Uh and then I think the Outlaws are gonna just take it. Both great teams, but I think the Outlaws just like you were saying, like they have something really special. They figured it out and they have just continued to get better and better. Um, and they're fresher and younger. Um, they definitely, as much as I like hate to say it about a different team than the Cannons, right? Like they deserve their flowers. Um, I just think they have something really special going, and so yeah, I think the Outlaws are gonna go all the way.
Yeah, it is hard to pick against them. I do think their biggest hurdle is going to be just that month off, going from it was August 2nd, August 1st to September 2nd, something like that, without
Mm,
playing.
it's a
Um,
really long time,
yeah,
but
but oh, you say they get to go to practice this weekend.
well, yes, but something I always ask myself, or I think about is like when these teams do have these bye weeks or a month off in this case, like how many of the players on these teams live near each other?
Very true.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
A lot of them are in New
maybe
York.
I'll,
A lot of them are in Baltimore. A lot of them are in Philly. A few of them in Boston.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's not like they're all in different states.
right. But I don't know, I was just wondering if there's what team in the league has the most players that live near each other that can just go and practice with each other,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, since we don't have any like players living in market specifically. I think maybe some of the Utah players do actually, but yeah, that's just something that I think about is like the impact that has. But I don't know the answer to it.
Yeah, I don't think that players' general residencies is publicly available, and I think it probably shouldn't be as well.
Right. No.
Yeah. But that is a great question. Like how many people there's small pockets for every team, I'm sure, but is it like 3 guys or is it like 6 or 10? Because that
Right.
would make a very big difference.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we certainly know there's a lot of Maryland, a lot of Long Island guys. I'm curious how many players still live with their parents. Like if you're a rookie right out of college, like it's not like you're making six figures to go buy a house.
No.
Yeah. What?
Listen, I, I would certainly say if you're just out of college, live with your parents while you can.
Especially if your job over the summer means you're traveling every weekend anyway.
Right. You're paying for an apartment. And in a lot of these cities, like these guys live in expensive cities, New York, Chicago, a couple in Boston, wherever, like some in California. These cities are expensive.
Yeah. Yeah,
If
no
I
one's
was
living in
traveling all the
Omaha.
time and not going to be home anyways, be like, why am I paying so much money for an apartment that I'm not even in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, anyways, that was just
Yeah.
the thought that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Um,
That's true. It's not like they're not seeing each other. And certainly with all the technology, like there's Zoom meetings, there's film sessions. So they're staying in touch, they're staying in shape. Like it's not like they won't have picked up a stick in a month.
yeah,
But
for
it's
sure.
certainly it's a very different vibe from something like the NFL or NHL or whatever, where even if you don't have a game scheduled for a while, you're still practicing. Uh,
Hmm.
I did
Yeah.
realize we didn't weigh in on I won't say the most important, but the award that gets the most attention, which is MVP. So we got
Oh, how did we
Schellenberger,
forget that?
Sowers, Pat Cav, and Brennan O'Neill.
I'm gonna go Schellenberger.
Yeah, I will too. I mean, he led the league in points. It's not the most important, but I think the fact that O'Neill and Kavanaugh are on the same team and kind of feed off each other maybe diminishes their value as or their most valuable player, right? Like
Hmm.
so many of Pat Cav's goals were or feeds assists were to Brennan O'Neill. So it's like, what's the more important half of that equation?
Sure.
Um, they're both obviously all of them are fantastic players in their own right.
Yeah.
Um, and Sowers has been. I don't know. It's like he puts up a ton of points, but like last year when things were going so badly, it was like him and McCardle and no one else, and they were still losing. And this year, right, they're both 4 and 6. I don't know. It's hard to say the most valuable player was on a team with a losing record.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean he I will say he's certainly like he's the most valuable part of that offense. I mean, maybe if CJ Kirk
Hmm.
had played all year, we would have seen a obviously we would have seen a very different look for them this season. Um, but he was also, yeah, 18 goals, 23 assists. Schellenberger was 23 of each, so that was very impressive. Um, and that was just three behind Ashton Holting, who had the most assists of anyone. Um, we had three players tied for second: Shelley, Sowers, and Teat, all with 23 each. Um, yeah, I think it'd also be very cool, like counterpart to that Foraton offense, if then you get Schellenberger and
Mm,
Teat winning MVP in back-to-back years. And Baptiste, who has won it. So that would
true.
be, yeah, that would be a fun little, and especially if they meet in the title game, right? And we'll know by the time that game happens who is the MVP because they announce it, I think the Friday before. Yeah, all right. So I think that we'll lock that in. So you're going with California, I'm going with Carolina, and then I think we're both going with Maryland in the East. But we're ultimately picking a Denver, New York. I know I'm scrapping. I'm going Carolina Maryland title game, and I'm saying the upstart Carolina that no one believed in is going to win it all. Um,
Okay.
just so we don't copy each other, and also because I can't bet against the chaos. I can't do it. They've proved everyone wrong too many times.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. That's
Um,
true.
and
It's
then
it's a hard decision to make with the Redwoods and Chaos, honestly. Like I said before, I've gone back and forth all day thinking about this. Um, I think it's gonna be a great game. I'm
yeah.
excited.
And we're of course we all agree Matt Campbell, midfielder of the year, Jack Hilty,
Hmm.
comeback player of the year. Let's give our team at least a little bit of hardware this season.
Right.
Aside from that championship, we're still the kings of sixes. I know we're not going to be there this coming season, but we'd win it if we were. Uh,
That's right.
so I'm sure we'll be back. I don't know exactly when yet, but either to talk about the semifinals, maybe to talk about some more awards, some other news. We'll try to get an interview for you all.
Hmm.
Please watch the games this weekend. They're both definitely on ESPN Plus, and I definitely should have
Yes.
looked up what network they're going to be on if they're on linear, which I'm sure the league wants them to be. And thank you, computer, for holding up so well. I know I ask so much of you. Oh no, they are both just on ESPN Plus. So
Hmm.
if you're a PLL fan big enough to listen to this podcast, I'm sure you have ESPN Plus. So go listen to those. And if you're in Minnesota, go to the games in person. They
Yeah.
cost, I think, probably the same as a regular season game, but the
Hmm.
atmosphere will be even that much more intense.
Yes.
Um,
Game one is at 6 p.m.
yep, game two at
Eastern Standard.
yes Eastern, so 5 o'clock if you're in Minnesota. Uh, and
And
then
game
game
two is 8:30.
yes. Yeah, all right. So we will be back in probably a week or so to recap those games, talk about the semifinals, and to cheer on our boys as they try to win some more awards. And until then, go Cannons.
Go Cannons.
Boom.
Boom.